Your son made me pregnant. What? Pay me $30,000 as compensation. When I answered the phone at the store, a young female voice suddenly said this to me. The woman on the other end of the line talked one-sidedly and did not identify herself. I had assumed it was a prank call, but I had no idea that this call would lead to such a thing. My name is Zoe Watts. I am the owner of a popular restaurant in a certain location. It has been featured on national television and in magazines, and most seats for lunch and dinner are reserved every day. However, as the restaurant has become famous, there has been an increase in unfamiliar sales calls and prank calls. So, I just brushed off these calls as a kind of prank. But when the caller called me at the restaurant and suddenly told me that she was pregnant, I was taken aback because I did not understand what she was talking about. I do indeed have a son, but there is no way in the world that he would get someone pregnant. So I got a little bit naughty, thinking that a prank caller saying the most shocking line ever sounded kind of interesting and was curious to hear the details. I aborted my child and I'm hurt, emotionally and physically. What are you going to do for me? And you're going to pay for my surgery. Well, first of all, excuse me, who are you? It is a hard part of the customer service business to have to respond politely, even if it is a prank call. It would be troublesome if the call is recorded, made into a story, and then the caller starts telling all kinds of things about us. I'm a customer at your store. Your son hurt me, and that's the first thing you say to me? You and your son have no common sense or compassion. I don't think my son is capable of such a thing. The employees in the kitchen and at the counter glanced at me as the conversation took on an atmosphere that did not seem to be a dinner reservation. I chuckled to reassure them and waved a fluttering hand to signify that it was okay. Your son forced himself on me on a dark night street. You recognized his face in the dark? Of course I could. But is it really our son? Don't be silly. I am absolutely sure. He is your son who lives with you. I've been too scared to go out alone since then. What are you going to do? She goes on to describe in detail how she was attacked. I think you have the wrong person. But it's a very important story, isn't it? So, I was wondering if you could meet me in person. People who make these kinds of prank calls do not like to meet face to face, so if I suggest a meeting, they often back down. At first I was amused to hear this, but it was going to be longer than I thought, so I suggested that it was time to end the call. You want me to meet the offender's parents? Toward a victim who is hurting. That's impossible. But I would like to meet you and see what you have to say. Are you saying that I am lying? That's not what I'm saying. I know she was lying to me. I was trying to resist the urge to say, "You're lying, aren't you?" I can't believe that such a person is the manager of a company. She began to scold me. Anyway, why don't we meet and talk? No matter how many times I suggested it, she still refused to meet with me. I see. Then what do you want me to do? Pay the compensation, it's $30,000. But I can't pay such a large amount of money because you have the wrong person in the first place. You can pay it. I know your store is thriving. If you don't pay, I will sue you to the police. Even though it is a popular restaurant, $30,000 is a lot of money for a restaurant, which has only a few seats, and I have no intention of paying it in the first place. I'll go to the police, but is that okay? No, it's fine. I said this without hesitation, and the woman became silent for a moment. If my son really did something like that, as a parent I should make him pay for it. But I don't think he did it in the first place. How can you say he didn't do it? Don't think it's only your son. You should be a little skeptical. I would believe you if you had some proof. Do you have any? Proof. I don't want to be asked for money without any proof. The woman on the other end of the phone is silent for a while, as if she is thinking about something. If you don't have any proof, I'll hang up. And when I was about to hang up the phone. Wait a minute. If I have proof, you'll pay me money? Well, I guess I'll think about it. Wait a minute. I'll bring the proof. Almost as soon as the words were finished, the woman hung up the phone with a snap.
Owner, are you all right?
No problem. It's just a prank call. Ronnie, the employee, sounded concerned, so I told him so. There was no way she could find any evidence, so I was sure I wouldn't hear from her again. But I had a bad feeling that if she got in and made a scene in the restaurant, I would not like it. That night, when I was preparing for dinner and had forgotten all about the phone call, Ronnie held an envelope in his hand. Ronnie came running up to me with an envelope in his hand and a pale face. What's wrong? It's not like you to run in the store.
Owner, this is for you.
He handed me a letter. Dear Zoe Watts, I was attacked and impregnated by your son. Please transfer $30,000 in compensation. Below the letter was a bank transfer address, and the payee's name was Nadia Clarkson. Ronnie, who was the first to see the contents of the letter, which was not addressed or sealed, looked pale and upset. Calm down.
But.
Because you know my son. I said, and he looked, oh. He looked relieved. There was still something in the envelope, and when I took it out, to my surprise, it was a pregnancy test. What is that? Hearing the commotion, the other employees gathered around, all of them seemingly surprised. Don't tell me it's really the owner's son. Some employees gave me a contemptuous look, but after a brief explanation, everyone seemed immediately convinced. I put the items sent to me away in my desk and went back to my usual work. A few days passed after that without transferring the money. Of course, but something a little depressing had happened during this time.
Owner, she was here again.
Ronnie looked fed up and brought me an envelope. Well, just in case you want to take a look at the contents, put it in its usual place. Recently, harassing letters were being put in the store's mailbox several times a day. You are not going to run away. Pay me. The owner is the parent of a criminal. His son got a college girl pregnant and he never apologizes. The owner of this store is a cruel woman with no human heart and no sincerity. Insane, overprotective, poisonous parents. It's your fault that your son became like that. Take responsibility. I will stop customers from coming to this store. It's for the good of the world and people. What will happen to the store so that no more customers will come here? Like that restaurant where that greasy, black, disgusting stuff is in the food. I don't think I'll ever go there again. The content gradually escalated, and the last one was a threat. Fortunately, we have yet to receive any complaints that something was really in the food. but it is exhausting to be constantly on the lookout for the possibility of being set up. In the midst of all this, there was something that bothered me. Lunch today, there are more empty seats. Little by little, really, but the number of customers is decreasing. Yes, that's right. We're always full, but today we have 2 empty tables. I thought of the poor food waiting in the kitchen to be cooked.
Owner,
I look up when I am called and see Ronnie coming toward me with his laptop in his arms.
look at this review site.
I looked at the computer screen and found terrible slanderous comments on the latest reviews. Poor customer service. They don't listen to their customers. Especially the owner. Seems to have been featured on TV and in magazines and is feeling good about it. The food is getting lazy. The soup is thinner than the last time I was there. I saw an employee drop the meat down before grilling and then gently put it back up. Everyday low reviews are being posted and the star ratings that were at the top of the list are dropping fast. I found myself shaking with anger. Why should I be hurt by such unjustified words? We are getting ready, right? A low, cold voice that I couldn't believe was my own was unintentionally coming out of my mouth.
Yes. It's almost done.
I chuckled at Ronnie's answer. It has been a week since I discovered the slanderous comments on the review site. The number of customers was getting fewer and fewer. When I went out into the hall, I found Watson, a regular, and a young woman sitting side by side at the store counter. Watson, thank you for everything.
You must be tired.
I greeted him, and Watson said something to me about my labor. No, my work is what I live for. I responded with a smile, and Watson shook his head in sympathy.
That's great. Your son is in trouble. But don't give up. Don't be discouraged. I'm on your side, and I'm going to give your son the strength he needs to atone for his crime.
Huh? I froze at those words, not knowing what he was talking about.
No, this store, which is always crowded at any given time, has been somewhat empty lately, so I wondered what was going on. Then this girl next to me was kind enough to show me an internet page that had information about this restaurant.
Then he turned to the pretty 20-something-year-old woman sitting next to Watson. It's really tough, isn't it? I like this place, so I've been coming here recently to lend a hand, even if just a little. I remembered that I might have seen her often at the shop recently. But what's written here is a misunderstanding. The regulars here were wondering why the place has been so empty lately, so I explained it to them. What? I couldn't believe what she was saying. I mean, isn't it sad not to know the truth? Plus, I thought if they knew that there are people like me and Watson who still come here, the owner might be happy. So you were spreading unverified online information to the customers of this shop. I forgot to use polite language and ended up raising my voice. Eek, scary. I read online that the owner is a terrible person, but I thought that wasn't true, but it seems like it might be true after all. If you've done something wrong, you should just apologize honestly. She twisted her body and moved away from me, as if trying to avoid a blow even though I wasn't raising my hand.
Miss, that's not a good way to talk. Zoe must be tired from everything that's happened.
Watson was trying to defend her, but that wasn't the point. The issue was different from that. At that moment, a bag fell off the chair behind her with a thud. As she twisted and moved around, it must have shifted. Despite my anger towards her, My customer service instincts kicked in, and as I reached to pick up the bag, Nadia Clarkson. My hand stopped at the name written on the student ID that had fallen out of the bag. Oh, it's okay, I'll pick it up myself. She hastily got off the chair to retrieve the bag and the student ID, but I had already taken them. Hey, give it back. No matter how many times I looked at it, there was no mistake. It was the name written on the letter with the pregnancy test, which was not evidence at all. So it was you. I've been looking for you, Nadia Clarkson. Ah, I must have mixed up my friend's student ID, so I'm not Nadia. But the photo on the student ID matches your face, doesn't it? So you were a student at University A. No, it's not like that. She accepted the truth more readily than I expected, realizing she couldn't evade it any longer. What? Are you trying to embarrass me in front of all these people? This might be revenge, but won't it backfire on the shop's reputation? She crossed her arms arrogantly, completely defiant. Her attitude only made me more angry. Ronnie. Bring everything over. I instructed him to quickly bring a stack of envelopes and documents as thick as 10 centimeters from the office, along with the laptop. And you were the one sending harassment letters to the shop repeatedly, weren't you? I read out some of the letters in a loud voice so that the other customers could hear. Pay up or I'll make sure no one comes to your shop. The owner is the parent of a criminal. The son got a female university student pregnant and didn't even apologize. It's pathetic to eat food from a place like this. I'll make sure no one comes to the shop. That's for the good of the world. Hearing the harsh words, some regulars put their hands over their mouths. These are clearly threats, aren't they? You don't have evidence that I sent these letters. Maybe someone else heard the rumors and sent them as a prank. Nadia tried to make excuses, but I silently opened the laptop and showed her the screen of another review site. You might have seen it here before, but these defamations on this review site. These are also your doing, aren't they? So what? Where's the evidence? Are you okay in the head? Ah, you like talking about evidence, don't you? Even though the evidence you provided was so sloppy. I showed Watson the first letter I received and the pregnancy test. What do you think of this pregnancy test that she claimed was evidence?
That red line is drawn with a marker. Even someone with my poor eyesight can see that.
The customers around us began to murmur. But this might not be proof that I was assaulted, but it also doesn't prove that I'm wrong. Nadia continued to shout, insisting that she was the victim no matter what happened. I was assaulted by your son. That's what I'm saying. How can you doubt that? The customers seemed unsure whom to believe, whispering amongst themselves. I'm the victim here, so it must be true. She started crying dramatically, trying to garner sympathy. Then, I'll prove it. My son is only 3 years old. When I revealed this decisive fact, Nadia let out a small what, in shock. My son is quite mischievous and strong for his age, but he couldn't assault you. No way. I know you have a big son. I heard you talking about having dinner and even saw photos of him. She took out her phone and showed a picture of a young man she claimed was with me. See? I told you. You have 2 sons. Her confidence returned when I guessed the person's name from the photo. That's not true. Then who is that? Is it a lover? A scandal where your son had an affair with a younger person and that person got a university student pregnant? Not just this shop, but your whole marriage is over. She spoke triumphantly, and I revealed the truth. That person is my niece. Niece. Yes, a girl. She's boyish and often mistaken for a boy even as an adult. She's staying at my house for university and helps with dinner and picking up my son as rent. I explained that, and asked her if she wanted to see the person herself as proof. By the way, as for the harassment letters and the review site posts, I have all the evidence now. Evidence? Lies. Nadia looked like she was about to collapse and weakly turned her head toward me. I've already consulted the police and our legal advisor. I explained everything I had prepared with Ronnie's help so far, such as the matching fingerprints on the letters and the identification of the review site poster as the same person. With all escape routes blocked, Nadia sat down in defeat. Earlier, you said that if you did something wrong, you should apologize quickly, right? I thought I heard her mumble something as she looked down, but I couldn't make out if it was an apology. I will contact the police about you. Of course, I will also inform your parents and your university. I will also be seeking compensation, so be prepared for that. No, please don't do that. I'm still a student. Please spare me. Even though you're a student, you're already an adult. You have to take responsibility for your actions. That's not fair. Please, just let it go. After that, I filed a report with the police against her for defamation and obstruction of business. I also sought damages for the shop's losses. She was originally a big spender, buying designer bags and clothes with a credit card, and it seemed her crime was a result of her inability to pay off her debts. Naturally, she was expelled from the university. Furthermore, this situation made the news, and I heard that Nadia had her personal information revealed and started receiving harassment herself. Through our lawyer, we also had the defamatory posts on the review site removed. Unexpectedly, the commotion ended up being a positive thing, clearing up misunderstandings among the regular customers. Now, the number of customers has completely returned to normal. While the commotion had reduced the number of new customers, most of the regulars stayed with us. Even though she spread all kinds of false information, it didn't change the fact that I was happy about it. I will continue to manage the restaurant to meet the trust of our customers. How did you find this story? Please remember to subscribe to the channel. See you in the next video.